Imagine standing on a stage giving a presentation with no microphone, or speaking to an audience that doesn't understand English. The audience won't learn anything if you don't make your presentation accessible. Just like every presentation you give, you need to think about the audience. So if you're going to do an accessible presentation, you should ask yourself, accessibility for whom? Someone using adaptive technology like a screen reader may access your presentation, which means that you need to provide alt text for graphics or subtitles for audio. You should also consider that some of the people who access your material might just learn differently. They may be visual learners or auditory learners. No matter who is in the audience, there are things you can do to make the presentation accessible for everyone. Why should you use PowerPoint for your presentations? The main reason is that both Microsoft Word and PowerPoint have accessibility tools you can use to catch things you might not notice otherwise. If you look under the Tools menu, you will see the Check Accessibility option. Click on that and a window will open to the right of your slide. That's the Accessibility Checker. I will say more about the Accessibility Checker in a bit. For the overall design of your presentation, use templates and themes that have a high color contrast. You should have a unique title for every slide. Don't use text boxes, animations, or automatic slide transitions unless you record your presentation as a video. If you do that, you must include captioning and a transcript. Fun fact, the Accessibility Checker will remind you if you forget to do any of these things. My advice to public speaking classes is to imagine speaking to a room full of people with your presentation projected on a screen. Consider the people in the back row. You would have to use large text and a font that is easy to read so those people can follow what you are saying. Now, you may not be presenting to a large room full of people. Still, keep that image in mind. It will help you remember to use fonts that are readable. When you use images in your slides, you must either include alt text or mark them as decorative. The screen reader will include these descriptions for users. Don't use color as the only way to convey information, because some people can't differentiate colors. If you end video, make sure that it's captioned and include transcripts for embedded audio. I'll come back to these points later in the presentation. Much like universal design in public spaces benefits everyone, so does accessible content. I'd like to blend those two ideas together and incorporate a few photos of universal design in public spaces, using alt text and giving appropriate credit to the creator. There are several websites that you can go to find photos that are both free of cost and of copyrights. Pixabay is my personal favorite, but Picril and Pexels are good too. Wikimedia is another great source. If you can find it on Wikipedia, the image associated with the entry is usually available for free. Sometimes you have to credit the image's creator. Make sure that you are using copyright-free images whenever possible. These two images from Pixabay and Pexels do not require attribution. However, it is still important to provide alternative text. In PowerPoint, I opened the Accessibility tab, selected the first photo, and clicked the alt text icon to add the description. Photo of a person in a wheelchair going up a ramp. For the second photo, I provide the following alt text. Person walking on to curb cut in sidewalk with a dog. Just one more thing about accessible text. Remember what you learned about plain language in this module. Use it whenever possible to make your message clear to the audience. Use tight bullet points. Avoid extra flowery words on the slides. Finally, tailor the presentation to how the audience will use it. For example, they might download it to use as a resource for an assignment. In that case, you should reference course resources or include notes in each slide. If you record your presentation, the audience can benefit from the text and images on each slide as well as your narration. You may not realize that you already have screen reader software on your digital devices. VoiceOver is built into the Apple operating system on computers, iPhones, iPads, and even watches. Narrator comes with Windows software, and TalkBack is built into Android smartphones and tablets. Other options include JAWS, which is not free, and NVDA, which is free. If you're not tech-savvy, contact the accessibility or IT experts where you work to get help learning how to use the screen reader features. To prepare a presentation for screen reader software, your text should read from top to bottom and left to right. For links, use descriptive text and not a full URL. In other words, don't include all the messy parts of the typical URL, like slashes and numbers. Instead, add the link under the words the user will see when they click the link and land on the page. Here's a quick review of what you've learned in this presentation. Use the accessibility tools provided in PowerPoint to make sure you don't forget anything. Make your images accessible by using alt text to describe what the images depict. Try to use more informative images and fewer decorative images. If you use decorative images, mark them that way under the Accessibility tab in PowerPoint. Keep your text accessible by using plain language and tight bullet points. And finally, follow the guidelines to make your presentations work with accessible technologies.